Now this is how ribs should fall off the bone when smoked just right. Whether you're a beginner or a veteran and just looking for a few tips and tricks to add to your backyard barbecue skills, you came to the right video. I'm going to show you an easy way to get this done using an offset smoker, and the cooking time shouldn't take more than about 5 hours. Let's get started. Alright, let's get these baby back ribs prepared for the smoker. First thing we're going to do is remove the membrane. If you don't have a quick and easy way to get it removed, follow the link in my description. I created a video on how to get it removed in 15 seconds or less. Now that the membrane has been removed, we need to apply a binder so the season doesn't just fall off once we put it in the smoker. My binder of choice is mustard. Use what you prefer. I choose mustard. You don't taste it after the cook, so don't worry if you don't like the taste of mustard. I promise you won't taste it at all. Once your binder is applied, you can go ahead and start seasoning. My seasoning of choice typically is adobo all-purpose seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and paprika, but feel free to season to your liking. Once your seasoning is applied, make sure to pat the seasoning in and not rub it, but pat it in, make sure it sticks and doesn't fall off, and this will also help in the bark formation later on throughout the cook. We're pretty much going to do the same exact thing to this side. We don't have a membrane to remove, so we can go straight to the mustard, apply it as the binder, rub it in very well, then start with the seasoning. And more importantly than on the membrane side, remember we're going to just pat the seasoning in to make sure it sticks. Do not rub it. Once your ribs are seasoned, it's time to get smoking. But before you put your ribs outside on the smoker, be sure to preheat your smoker first to at least 250 degrees. We don't want to put your ribs out there at a temperature way below what you're supposed to be cooking at. Also, I try to use a thermometer probe attached to my grill grates and not solely rely on the temperature probe on the grill, as that does not give you an accurate temperature of what your grill grates are and what you're actually cooking at. Try to remember to put the larger side of your meat facing your heat source. Since my firebox is on the right side of my smoker, I try to have the large sided ribs facing the heat source so the ribs cook evenly throughout the cook. We're now about 90 minutes into the cook. We've been maintaining a decent temp of about 225 to 250. It's now time for the spritzing process. There are other options in spritzing, such as leaving the water pad in the smoker, but since we didn't do that this time, we're going to spritz. And if you're not familiar with spritzing, follow the link in my description on what I use to make mine. We're now 2 hours into the cook. I just got done spritzing, and I'm doing the temperature check to see if we're at 165 degrees and it's time to wrap. And as you can see, we're not quite there, so we continue to cook. After approximately 3 hours, we finally reached an internal temp of 165 degrees. Now it's time for probably the most important step if you're looking for your ribs to fall off the bone, which is to wrap the ribs. The ingredients I use when wrapping my ribs is very common. I use a combination of honey, butter, and brown sugar. I've also seen and known people to add beer or apple juice to their wrap as well to help steam the ribs and tenderize them to where they fall off the bone. If you're using the honey, butter, and brown sugar, be cautious and think about whatever you're going to sauce the ribs with in the end, because if you're going to use a sweet barbecue sauce, you might not want to go too crazy at this process because the ribs can come out overly sweet. After your ingredients have been added, it's very important to tightly wrap the ribs and allow them to cook at 250 degrees for about 2 hours to achieve that fall off the bone tenderness that you're looking for. After 2 hours and cooking at 250 degrees, you can see the meat has started to pull back from the bone, and that's exactly what you want. These ribs literally are about to fall apart as I'm placing them on the grill. All we're going to do now is add them to the grill, add a little sauce, get a little char going on the ribs, and they're ready to go. This process shouldn't take any more than about 10 minutes or so, depending on the temperature of your grill. I'll be honest, I don't typically sauce the ribs directly over the flame. I was pressed for time this time, so I was trying to hurry up and I put them directly over the flame, looking for those perfect char marks, and I'll be honest, they came out a little darker than I preferred, but that didn't change the tenderness of the meat at all. Just keep that in mind when you put your ribs back on the grill and you're saucing them. You might want to do it indirectly versus directly over the coals. Without further ado, here they are. These ribs are literally falling off the bone. If this is the texture that you're looking for, the wrapping process is going to be the most important step throughout the entire cook. That's going to allow the ribs to steam and give you that fall off the bone texture that you're looking for. If there was any part of the process that I was unclear about or that you may have a question about, please leave a comment in the section below and I'll be sure to answer it. In the meantime, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Take care.